Hello everybody and welcome to the fourth round of the Abruzzi M2 Challenge here with TSRC. It's the halfway point of the season now after the final race a couple of weeks ago, or last week rather, at Oran Park. It's time for the second half of the season now. Oschersleben, Summit Point and VIR to come here. 6 more races to decide our champion. And that conversation is still very much ongoing. It is very, very open indeed. I'm Ian O'Leary. I'll be alongside James Parfitt. And for the remainder of this season, this is the situation we have on our hands. Wojciech Dvorak currently at the top end of town with just 3 points over Josh Millington. Jamie Nuttall only 9 points further behind. Fabian Bovet and Mike Pollard also have over 100 points. They're not too far away at all. Tom Davidson and Andrew Pike are tied for 6th place at the moment on 99 points. Ahead of Matt Acton, then Felix Smoggy and Francesco Petlerin, who are who are rounding out the top 10. Then you can see the rest of them down that side of that top 10. Starting with Kieran Sharp, actually, who's had a difficult season so far in 11th place. There you can see them running right the way down. We've had lots of drivers participating so far this season, by the way. 35 drivers have at least entered the series. 32 of them are a positive points-wise here coming into this round of the championship. Last time out, just 1 week ago, we had 25 in the field, I believe, for the 2 races at Oran Park. Here tonight, so far, I can see 24, so pretty much the same. It's a very big grid here once again. Good to be back for this series here, James, the M2 Challenge. 15 minutes race 1, feature race of half an hour with a reverse grid coming up as well. There's a lot to look forward to in a very wide open championship indeed.
Yep, and of course, we've got the wonderful world of the safety car. After last week's chaos it caused, after coming out for barely anything, it then did actually come out for a double incident that took place. But they have dialed it back this week. Don't forget, it is for the feature race only, and it cannot be actioned within the last 12 minutes. So that's going to be the situation as well. We've also got some qualifying bans taking place at the moment. Maurice Pickler has accumulated 6 or more license points, and Francesco Petterlin has also got a qualifying ban for accumulating 6 or more license points as well. So those guys unfortunately won't be out for qualifying, which we will be going to very, very shortly. They're just finishing off the driver briefing. Oschersleben itself, yeah, I don't know. It's a track that was released. Nobody had really ever heard of it. And we've got it now on the schedule because obviously the free content. I haven't really got an opinion of it. I'm not a lover, I've got to be honest. It's very kind of Mugello-esque, with the shell-esque being the same as Savelli and Mugello. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure about this circuit, to be honest.
It's been in iRacing for 2.5 years now, by the way. I can't believe that.
Shut up. Has it?
Yeah, it has, yeah. September 2022 for the final season of 2022 it was released. I can't believe that, really. But
no.
Yeah, that is true. Apparently, according to the iRacing website.
Oh, okay.
Feels like an awfully long time ago for that to have happened. Yeah, iRacing.com, I believe it. Yeah, I mean, I had heard it before the release on iRacing. But it's not a very well-used circuit around the world, particularly not by national or international series, really. It's a bit different regionally. It's used, but not really nationally used very much, which is I guess why it's maybe not quite as popular, not heard of by so many people, but. As you mentioned, we are doing only 3 tracks here in this season, and so you do start to run out of options quite quickly with those, unfortunately. It has kept the numbers up. It's helped keep the numbers up, which I think is a good thing for this series. Of course it is. However, especially with a new car like this, the M2. However, yeah, it does mean that you go to some obscure circuits like Oran Park. I think, to be honest, less people would have heard of Oran Park last week than what I've heard of Oschersleben this week, if I could take a guess.
You reckon?
I think so, probably. Yeah.
Maybe. I suppose the only thing now is obviously Oran Park don't exist anymore. It's a housing estate in Australia. So it's no longer there anyway. So I suppose you might be right that people may have heard of Oschersleben because of that situation. But I don't know, for me, this isn't a track that I sit back and think, oh yeah, Oschersleben. You know, I get more excited for Summit Point, to be blatantly honest, and Alton Park and Okayama. But yeah, I'm not a lover of this. The only difference is obviously we're doing the motorcycle layout, which has the, I'm going to say, faster left-right chicane. As you can see there, Wojciech Dworek just going through for us, rather than the janky left-right that we often see at Catalunya, the last one there, the last chicane at Catalunya, which is just absolutely dreadful. But I think this motorcycle layout keeps it a little bit more flowing. As I say, it kind of reminds me of a little bit of Mugello, but yeah, I'm still not 100% sure on it.
Yeah, I to be honest, I'm in the minority maybe in preferring the tighter chicane that we are not using. We're bypassing here in this layout, but because I think it provides a much better overtaking chance when you've got a much bigger braking zone. But you know, I don't think it's bad this way round either. Certainly seems to have fallen out of favour with everybody, that tighter early chicane. I can't remember the last time I saw or commentated on a race that it actually utilised the tighter chicane. So yeah, it's the faster lap we got here, and that's very much the norm now across of iRacing. This is Wojciech Dworek now coming through the final couple of corners. 3 points at the moment ahead of Josh Millington as they come through the final turns to set the benchmark here this afternoon. It's time to find out who's going to be where at the end of this qualifying session and for the first race of the day. Dworek will set the benchmark for everybody else, although Jamie Nuttall and Kieran Sharp go over the line at the same time. It's a 34.4. Mikey Pollard going very quickly indeed into the lead. Surely no, just second place. He went purple in the first two sectors. The last sector wasn't good enough by the looks of things. Quite a nice livery there. It's right through the final couple of corners for Matt Acton, number 44. We'll see where Millington's got to. 5th place early on in this session. So Felix Schmogian has also moved on. He's now 3rd. There goes Acton over the line, not as quick in the final couple of sectors. By the looks of things, here's a look at the first chicane. Faster as it is. You have to brake a bit more than I remember actually for the first bit there. There you go. And through the long looping right-hander, the second part, the turn 2, and sliding your way out as well. Kieran Sharp going pretty well in this second lap, though he's gone purple in the first sector. Here he is, making his way down the back straight.
Yeah, he has. He's out there at the moment. His declaration for this race, try and not crash. That's what he said. So there we go. One, I'm glad you sorted out your sound. I was going to say, nobody else has seemed to have had an issue. Big Pete Racing, as in YouTube chat as always, a Francesco Petlin fan. Unfortunately, no qualifying for him this evening. When is the M2 at Le Mans with no chicane? Now, the reason that was discussed was due to the fact that, believe it or not, these cars actually have 7 gears. They never get there. In fact, I don't ever think I've ever seen them, but they do have 7 gears. And that's why they were saying about taking them to Le Mans, just to see how fast they would go down that long back straight, down the Mulsanne straight without the chicanes. So that's why that's been mentioned, because they do have 7 gears, and for whatever reason, I don't really know.
I'm pretty sure we have seen them. I think we did a round of another series that was on the North Drive where we saw them get up to 7 gears, and we're surprised that they had them. Because I think everybody is when they first see this car shift up into 7th gear. It's not a bad idea, is it? Taking them through Le Mans with no chicanes. I think that's good racing no matter what car you choose, to be honest. It's always a bit of fun, but there we go. We'll have to keep waiting for that. Matt Smith over the line with a couple of personal bests is going to move up here into the, well, maybe not move up at all, actually, just improve lap time. It's 21st for Smith. Is ahead, though, of the likes of Gurley Gonzabo, Francesco Petlin and Jack Southfield, who have not set times here today. As you mentioned, there are drivers who are not able to qualify, but Maurice Pichler isn't here, so won't be able to not qualify, if you see what I mean. And indeed, we'll keep our streak going of after round 1, every single round since then, because obviously you can't have a qualifying ban for round 1 because nothing has happened yet. Every round so far has had at least one driver with a qualifying ban at some stage, which says a lot about the season we've had so far, and some of the driving we've had here and there. qualifying bans for accumulating more than 6 incident points, by the way, in case you're interested. Guillaume Hamling just in behind Sharp here is going pretty quickly, and this could be a good time. It's going to be right up there in the mix. It should be a top 5. It is 3rd place for Hamling, just a 10th off pole.
Yeah, great job from Guillaume Hamlin there. Going to set a time, set it right at the end on your last lap. So fair play to him. Rich Gallagher sitting down in 19th. Got a green on the board as he's going to head up to the line. 1:36.704. He does improve. He puts himself up in 18th. Of course, pedaling with that qualifying ban. He won't be out on the racetrack. Matty Action. That's the nickname that was given to him a few weeks back by our very own Dean Biggles and Jim Cunningham. That is Matty there. He's also got his name on his roof. So you can see Matty Action on the roof of his machine, if you're wondering what that is. I have a picture of him, actually, as well, to be blatantly honest. So, yeah, Matty sitting in 12th at this moment in time in that wonderful Williams livery machine. Mikey Pollard sitting in 5th at the moment, not improving in Sector 1. It'd be interesting to see what he does in Sector 2.
And there's a quick trip back to pit lane for Pollard. Are there any drivers with lap times still remaining? Only Gurley Consabo, who I'm pleased has waited for his lap times, because that means we've got someone to watch at the end. He has only just completed his first lap time. It didn't count, so he must have gone off track somewhere. But we can properly have a look following only one driver now as to what this circuit's really like, because we've been following the others so far. They've all completed their 3 lap times. There are only 3 laps you can do in qualifying over the course of 10 minutes, but Consabo has decided to wait a little bit before actually doing his lap times, which I'm very much a fan of, because that means he'll be able to give us something to watch at the end of the session. Although, having said that, I'm not sure he quite timed it right, because I'm not sure he's going to get all 3 of his laps in before 10 minutes runs out.
No, he hasn't even got a lap time on the board at the moment either, which is a little bit worrying, but we'll see what he gets at the end of this lap. I do know he is grey. I have tried refreshing everything, and unfortunately he's still grey, so I can't answer the question why he is grey. It's just the fact his livery's not loading through. Ooh, big snap through trading paints.
These cars do like a snap, don't they? They do like to oversteer, especially on power out the corners. Very interesting car to drive, I think. Certainly, just watching. Gunsabo makes his way over the line. This should be right in the mix. It's 11th place. It's actually only just under a second off pole, but down in 11th place. And he'll be battling right around the very interesting point in the field, as we'll be talking a lot about in the 15-minute sprint race. They'll be fighting for the reverse grid pole, which you gain if you finish in 10th place. I think reversing top 10 in this size field is a perfect number, really. Doesn't give absolutely everybody a chance to get reversed, but it does help quite a few drivers also get up towards the front and have a better second race. So I'm very much a fan of the reverse grid, and that's going to be sorted after 15 minutes of sprint racing to open up tonight.
Yeah. Absolutely, excuse me, sorry about that. I love reverse grids because it really does mix up the people and mixes up the drivers. The difference is obviously the top 10 here puts it right in the middle of the field almost, so that's generally where chaos happens. So I'll be interested to see how this one pans out. As you say, Gurley Consabo did not manage to get his lap time on the board, so we will have a look at the grid very, very shortly. But yeah, I think reverse grids are really going to mix this up, and we'll see how they all get on being down in that middle pack.
They'll be battling for it here in this first race, as Kieran Sharp takes pole position here alongside Josh Millington, Guillaume Hamling and Wojciech Dvorak on row 2. Then it's Mike Pollard and Felix Smoggy on row 3, ahead of Tom Davison and Jamie Nutto. Jack Southfield and Andrew Pike round out the top 10. As we just saw, Gurley Consabo with that late lap time goes into 11th. Of 12th placed Mav Gardner. Matt Acton and Alex Richards will be on row 7 ahead of Paul Weller and Dave Kahn. It's Francesco Cordolo in 17th ahead of Mauro Gubatti, with Stefan Mellis and Rich Gallagher running up the top 20. John Bradsaw's 21st ahead of Valerio Tedeschi, with Matt Smith and Francisco Petalin running out the 24 car field. I think we've got the same as what we had last time out in the Oran Park round of this championship. In terms of numbers here today, which is a good thing. It's a busy field here at Oschersleben. Time for another round of the Abruzzi M2 Challenge here with TSRC. Kieran Sharp on the front line, getting us is underway from the pole here from a standing start. It's Josh Millington who's going to tuck immediately in behind him with Guillaume Hamling and Wojciech Dvorak in third and fourth place, battling side by side. Dvorak in the yellow on the inside for turn one, be on the outside for turn two, and that's going to be a very long way round indeed for him here. He's not going to get all the way round there. He'll just tuck in front of Pollard, who's got Smoggy and Davidson right behind. Davidson wins out there. Nutto's the one going backwards. Now he's side by side with Southfield as they go in towards turn three. Yeah,
great action as they all jumped off the line there as well. Kieran Sharp, no grief for Sharp in turn number one, and like Numbers put in YouTube chat, was going to be grief for Sharp in turn number one. There wasn't any grief there as well. They've still got these mid-pack battles taking shape. I'd be interested to see how this one develops with the likes of Jack Southfield and Andrew Pike and Konzabo and Matty Action all around that mid-pike, fighting it out for that reverse grid pole as we go into the right hand of the chicane before we go through Stadium Grande, the long back straight here.
That's a bit of momentum lost there for Southfield off onto the back straight. Here goes behind him Andrew Pike, looking to gain a place. No positions gained inside the top 11, by the way. They're all as they were off the start line. Pike just in behind Southfield, who we're following here. Then it's Gonzalo, but look at that. Only one position change in the top 15, and that is Acton getting past Gardner for 12th place. But that's going to change now. Goes Jamie Nutto through the penultimate corner, and he could be freight trained here. There goes Southfield, there goes Pike, 8th and 9th. That's a costly error from Jamie Nutto. Yeah, unfortunately he just ran wide and went off the track, and that was it. Pike and Southfield said thank you very much, we're going through. Action further back, you can see here with the likes of Bradshaw, Mellis, Khan, Matt Smith, all in the pack battle towards the back end here with Mauro Gabbiati also mixing it up with a big pig race to Francesco Petterlin, who's up 7 places because obviously he started at the back, so a great start from him. Oh, went off there down at the back end of the field. Not sure who it was, but gravel was being picked up and all sorts off in the background. Meanwhile, side by side as Mellis gets down the inside of Dave Kahn. Not sure if it was Mellis. Well, it might have been Kahn going backwards, actually. He's now down 4, putting 2 and 2 together. He might have been the one off through turn 2, or I could have been seeing things. We'll find out. Triple left-hander. Kahn does get himself through on the inside. It might be John Bradshaw, it was. Straight on down there at turn number 2. So Bradshaw actually only down a couple from where he started, but that's because he had such a good first lap and he was up inside the top 20 early on. That was thrown away pretty quickly, unfortunately for him. Yeah, one mistake when your field's as close as this, and it's good night Vienna, isn't it? That's the problem. You're off, it's see you later. Felix Smoggy running alongside here at this moment in time with Tom Davidson. They're swapping backwards and forwards, and Smoggy does manage to make it through, so fair play to him on that one. It was close. He was nearly T-boned almost by Davidson, who pulled out right at the last moment, and there goes Southfield. That's quite late on the brakes. Oh, it's quite deep as well. He just makes a bit of side-to-side contact, and Davidson has to yield in the end. Pretty good racing here from Southfield early on, as he's now up 2. He took the opportunity from Jamie Nutto going off on the last lap. He's created his own chance there. Go down the inside of Davidson at the final corner. Yeah. That's exactly what this circuit can create, and this car I think can create as well. It's not the best on braking performance. The braking zones are quite long, and so you can make some dives down the inside like we just saw there. Yeah, we've got Matt Gardner and Acton side by side coming into the left-hander. And Acton does manage to go and hold that position, mind you. Was under attack from Gardner, and Gardner could not make it through on him. So great defense from Matty Acton. There's another big old defense from Cardulo. Was fighting it out. I believe that's Paul Weller in front, and Cardulo and Gabbiati were scrapping it outside as well. So a massive defense from Cardulo didn't stop Weller going through. Weller still made it through regardless. Back up front, of course, Kieran Sharp, Millington, Hamlin, Dvorak, Pollard, all broken away a little bit from the likes of Smoggy and Southfield behind them. Just up ahead, by the way, of battle between Weller and Cardulo, who you just saw there. We've seen Francesco Petterlin getting up 9 places so far, already up to 15th after starting from the very back of the field. Started last, as he was not allowed to qualify. So he's making some very good progress indeed, and is there going to be more here into the final corner? Not quite this time round, as all the stones get thrown up into the air on the outside of the penultimate corner. That's a slowdown for Matt Gardner, and that's a free place for Petterlin, who's now up 10.
Yeah, he is flying through the field at the moment. He's got Richards tucked in front of him. He's a man on a mission, says Big Pig Racing in YouTube chat. He definitely is. And at the moment, he was nearly man on a game over.
It's away with it. And he'll set his sights continually now on 10th place. Just less than 10 minutes to go. And this is all creating a big battle for those last places inside the top 10. It's the battle for 6th place that's causing it. Felix Smoggy just ahead of Jack Southfield, who's been making progress so far and wants to continue that. He's got Davidson right behind, and he's having a look down the inside almost there. Maybe. No, can't go through. And you've got Nuttall, who we go on board with here. This is going to allow Consabo to catch up, and Pike as well, Matt Acton, the rest of them, with Petalin at the back end of that train. A lot of drivers are going to catch up as a result of this battle for 6th place.
Oh, big snap. Jamie Nuttall nearly had that car sideways. And you are right, they are closing in. Pike is not too far behind Nuttall at the same time, 1.7 to Consabo. Matt Acton has got Richards in behind and Petalin in behind that. Well, Petalin's just cleared Richards and is now up in 11 places into 13th. I would say, is it possible for him to get the top 10? But I think the way he's driving, anything is possible.
Yeah, it is, certainly at this stage, with the amount of time remaining as well. 13th place now for Francesco Petalin to make their way out the final corner. Gardner's pretty close to Richards, just in background there as well. It's moving around a lot on the way down towards turn 1, but he doesn't go for it this time. Stays behind in the group. Davidson versus Smoggy, who's going backwards here. Smoggy has been overtaken by Southfield and now by Davidson as well. Is he going to get overtaken by Nuttall as well? It looks like maybe. No, he's still on the inside. That's on the inside of Davidson here. Out of turn 3, he's going to have a big slide. And now Smoggy's going to be under pressure from Nuttall. He will just about tuck into line, but he does lose 2 places in quick succession there.
Yeah, Nuttall and Smoggy on the same crack racing team, of course. You've got TSRC Esports in and around them. These guys are kind of the filling in between the TSRC bread almost, the cracked racing boys. But yeah, they're going to try, and I would have hoped they would have tried to work together. But it's not really a team championship, so they don't really have to. So that's going to rely on that. But it does look like Smoggy's just got a wicked slowdown and has unfortunately lost places to Nuttall and Pike.
That is a very, very costly one for Smoggy. Is it going to prevent him from finishing inside the top 10 entirely? Early Consabo, to be fair to him, didn't look like he quite had the speed to stay with them anyway, so maybe Smoggy's going to be okay, but at the moment there's going to be big danger there. Pollard versus Dvorak out the final corner, absolutely side by side, or into the final corner side by side rather. Pollard was ahead, he might have started that right at the penultimate corner, but Dvorak holds him off and needs to as well, because his closest rival, Josh Millington, is up the road, gaining points from him at the moment. Dvorak doesn't have the speed, seemingly, to stay with the front 3.
Yeah, they swapped places 4 times over the last half of that lap. They were backwards and forwards, and it come out that Dvorak obviously is retaking that position. Pollard started it off, then Dvorak, then Pollard, then Dvorak again. So now he's sitting out in front. Is he going to be able to get... well, Pollard's going to... Oh, I thought Pollard was going to come straight back at him there. The thing is, for these two, is really how do they want to play this? Do they want to go and just fight for the position they're in, or are they going to want to go and catch the other 3? If they want to go and catch the other 3, they kind of want to stop doing this almost. They need to kind of follow the leader there. Watery Turtle with YouTube chat, he's put hashtag Team Richards and then put a pathetic defense from Richards as well. So there we go. Picking on his own team.
Yeah. I know,
bit harsh.
rev his driver up by insulting him, which is an interesting way to go about it. Through the final sector, Pollard not as close to Dvorak. Anyway, like as close this time round. Dvorak goes a bit wide, though, in the gravel. Again, he'll get away with that, and he'll continue to run 4th. Here's Nuttall, who's also close behind him in the championship, by the way. Going to get past Davidson in that 7th place. Southfield very much seems to be away with 6th. What about the battle for 7th here, though, as Nutter gets right into the slipstream over the line. And again, just over 5 minutes remaining. He's struggling to make this overtake work now. Davidson defending pretty easily, but that was wrong. In towards turn 1, he's got it wrong. And now he's going to be under pressure. Turn 2, he's on the outside for the very long way round. But he's actually made a good run of it on the outside line there. And he'll be on the inside for turn 3. Here comes Nutter. He can't brake late enough, and that's partly because Davidson broke too late on the inside line, came steaming through. Nutter goes for the cutback, and now he'll be on the inside for the triple left-hander if he's still alongside by the time they get there. He's only just going to be there. Davidson very nearly shut the door because he was very nearly able to. Now there's nearly side-to-side contact. Now they rub in towards the long right-hander. Nutter goes very wide. He's going to have to switch back, and this is creating a big gap in front of them. It's a big battle for 7th place right now.
Yeah, Davidson kind of has been bringing this on himself, unfortunately running in deep into corners. That's allowing Nuttall to get alongside. They've kind of settled it down a little bit. They did have kind of four position swaps over that little bit of action that we saw. But Davidson's got to tidy this up. He can't keep running in deep because Nuttall will eventually just say, I'm going to have this away. And you can see that kind of pack is breaking up a little bit. Here he goes again, Nuttall, trying to go round the penultimate corner. Into the last corner he goes. Not going to be able to get there. He's going to, for Davidson, he really needs to rely on Pike closing in on Nuttall, put him under a little bit of pressure. But at the moment, Pike's just not quite getting there. And for Nuttall, he's got an opportunity, but the question is, where is he going to look at it? He's going to look at the inside of turn number 1. Is he going to take it? No. He gives Davidson something to think about. Oh! Nearly contact.
Very nearly absolutely rammed him there through turn 2. And, well, thankfully he pulled it up in time. Now turn 3 has a look, but no chance. Now, at the back end of this group, the fight for 10th is on, because Philip Smoggy has caught up to these guys with Gergely Consabo in tow. He's in the grey in the background there, as you can see, behind Smoggy in a much more multicoloured car, I think it's fair to say, through the triple left-hander. So there's going to be a big fight on towards the back end of this group as well. 3 minutes to go, and Kieran Sharp is just making his way down the back straight. He's still leading by a pretty narrow margin, by the way, out front. Here they are on the back straight. 2 laps to go when they get to the line.
Yeah, not long to go. There's not really been action at the front, has there? They've kind of followed my leader. None of them have changed position. Southfield's the only one in the top 10 that's gained more than 1 place, and he's up 3 places and is now closing in on the back end of Pollard. But the front 3 haven't changed, haven't moved, haven't done anything.
No. Well, it's somewhat expected, I suppose, in the first race. Oh, and there goes Southfield down the inside at the final corner on Pollard, who goes wide. Now Southfield is surely going to have a chance at turn number 1. They're side by side, by the way, between Nuttall and Davidson as well. It's all going on in the background as Southfield tries to go around the outside for the first part, gives him the inside at turn 2. If he pulls it up in time, and he does, by the looks of things, he's got it. What about behind? Here comes Nuttall, he is through, and it's side by side for 10th. Here's the big battle. Smoggy on the inside of Consabo, who's going right around the outside.
Big crash.
There's contact between the 3 of them. Oh, goodness. Big contact as down the order goes Pike and Consabo. I think we saw Smoggy there get into Pike, who was running in 9th place. He spun around Pike, and then Consabo got collected. Yeah, I think there was initial contact there between Smoggy and Pike, who was spun around.
Yeah, we'll try and catch it there. There it was. Goes round into Consabo. And unfortunately for Gergely, is off the side of the circuit. But yeah, it was always going to happen. They were fighting so closely. But the thing is as well, is because they were so close, they weren't able to avoid what was going on. That was the problem. For Consabo in behind, for Pike in behind that, there was nowhere to go. He just, once he started, that was kind of the end of it. So when you're racing so closely, that's one of the problems that you have to deal with. And unfortunately, they all came a cropper of it.
Acton and Richards, meanwhile, going side by side for 12th place, a bit further down. Looks like Matt Acton has prevailed in that one. As the white flag waves, Josh Millington has got his one of his best chances yet to put the pressure on Kieran Sharp. Whether he's actually going to here or not is another question. But Millington is really close behind the race leader. Sharp has led every one of the 9 laps so far. He's just got to lead for one more, and he will take race 1.
Yeah, he will. But this is what I don't get. Is Millington content sitting there? He hasn't really made a move for the last 15 minutes. Hasn't really gone anywhere. Hamlin hasn't tried to muscle his way through. All the action's been at the back. Petlin is now, believe it or not, on pole position for race number 2. An incredible gain of 14 for Francesco Petlin. I tried to think what's going to happen if he gets pole for race number 2. He ain't going to be there, is he? He'll be off down his bike and taking the win.
Well, yeah, helped, of course, by Pike and Consabo spinning round, because if not, he would be in 12th and looking at 11th place, although Smoggy wouldn't be here, I suppose, because they would be without that incident as well. But the fact is, the incident has happened. Petelin has taken advantage of it, and it looks like he's a few corners away from pole. Meanwhile, Sharp is a few corners away from a race victory here, with Josh Millington pushing him all the way through the third last corner. He was extremely close. Is there going to be a last corner dive from Josh Millington, who's really close behind here? Sharp moves it over. He moves it over to the inside of the final turn there, because he knows the pressure that's on him right now. Millington is going to try and get the exit. He has got a better run, but surely the run towards the line is too short, and Kieran Sharp is going to win race 1 here at Oschersleben. That was very close, just 1/10 of a second. Josh Millington tried and tried for all his worth to try and get through, but he couldn't do it. In the end, he has to settle for second, and with Dvorak down in 4th place, finishing in 4th, the championship lead will change hands. Millington will nevertheless get ahead by 1 point over Dvorak here at the end of race 1.
Yeah, and that was Consabo having a great run down to the line with Mauro Gabbiadi. And John Bradshaw is doing the same thing. Oh, John! Oh, my God! He's only going to go up to 22nd, but it's an important place. So John just muscles his way over to Tedeschi on that one. That was quite a send from John, to be blatantly honest with you. And we're just waiting for Matt Smith, who's the last one over the line. The front three didn't really do a lot. It was more in behind that brought us the action here, Mr. O'Leary.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there was not much sense in the front three battling too early on, so I do totally understand that from their point of view. But yeah, it was the midfield where we were focusing a lot, because that's where the action was primarily in that opening race. Let's have a look at the race results here for race number 1. And it shows that Kieran Sharp has taken the first victory of the night, with Josh Millington taking the championship lead with the second place finish. Guillaume Hamlin finished in 3rd ahead of Wojciech Dworak, who's now 2nd in the championship. Jack Southfield was just behind him, and so was Mike Pollard. Jamie Nussel got to the front of his group ahead of Tom Davidson, with Felix Smoggy and Francesco Petelin rounding out the top 10. Matt Gardner just missed out on that pole for race number 2. Matt Acton finished in 12th place, just a second ahead of Alex Richards, with Andrew Pike and Paul Weller running at the top 15. Mauro Gabbiadi was 16th, but of Gurgly Consabo after that incident for him. Dave Kahn was 18th in the end of that race. Stefan Mellis, Rich Gallagher ran out the top 20. Francesco Cardillo, John Bradshaw and Valerio Tedeschi ran out the guys on the lead lap. Matt Smith dropped off the lead lap for some reason, and came home in last. The starting grid for the next race, by the way, is basically that, with the top 10 reversed, and that's what the big furore was about in the opening race. Francesco Petelin, has gotten onto the pole after great work in race number 1. He's going to be rewarded with a great starting position for race 2.
Yeah, well, he'll be on pole, won't he? And he's just going to fly away. What's worse is Big Pigs has just put... Petlin just told me he did no practice for this race. That's a little bit worrying. If I was everybody else in the field, I'd be a little bit concerned by that. Biggest gainer in race number 1, and he's on pole for race number 2.
Yeah, that is quite worrying for everybody else, but there you go. They'll have to try and overtake him somehow over the course of the half an hour. As you mentioned, briefly touched on earlier on, we've got a couple of changes to the safety car, which I think is a really great addition to this series, by the way, and I think more series could do it in sprint racing. If only the iRacing safety car would drive a bit faster. then it might be a bit more usable. Anyway, that's beside the point. We've changed the rules effectively a little bit on the safety cars. So, having heard the new rules, I actually think the chances of seeing one are quite low now.
Yeah, it's got to be 4 or more cars, I think, was the rules that were set, and it was like an 18X or something. Unless there's major dramatics, I don't really know. I can't say that we're going to see one. I didn't mind the safety car at Oran Park. The first one, definitely, right? Basically, they all checked up, they all hit each other, and then all of a sudden it registered a safety car. Okay? Because there was no major accidents, they all just checked up and bonked into each other. As I said, the second incident, there was a first incident, then the second incident, I understand the safety car on that one. I don't really want to see it as harsh as it is now. Like, it's going to take ages to get a safety car. We need 4 cars to pile up. We need 18X to happen. I quite liked Oran Park, but maybe just, instead of being a 12, go to a 14 or something. But not that massive jump up to 18.
It's such a difficult balance to get right, I think.
Oh, yeah, we're always going to have an opinion, and the league's always going to be wrong. But it doesn't mean that, obviously, the league are wrong, that they've just gone for what they think. It reduces the chances of a safety car, don't get me wrong. And the safety car did bring some rather dramatic action last week at Oran Park.
And it varies circuit to circuit as well. I think this... I'm just trying to think, in that incident we saw a couple of moments ago between Smoggy, Pike and Consabo, whether that would have been a safety car even then, because there was all sorts of bits of contact going on. Maybe not in this way round. Obviously, there isn't a safety car for a sprint race, just for a reference, but... just to try and think about for the future, would that have brought out a safety car under the previous rules or these rules? It's very difficult to get right. And of course, when you're doing it on the iRacing incident point system, I think you're always going to have safety cars that come out that look a bit strange, and incidents that maybe should be safety cars or would have been in real life that aren't. So it's really difficult to get right. And we're going to see a lot more tinkering with that as we go along, because... It's going to take time to get the balance right, and that's just the way it's going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I think you're right. It will take some tinkering around with it. It's the first time we've seen it in a TSRC series ever, and we've been doing them, I don't know, can't think, 2 years plus. So, try it. Why not give it a go? I think it'd be good. I think other series should look at it.
As I was saying before the broadcast, I think special events could definitely have a look at it for the longer races. It'd be very exciting. But anyway, we're probably a way off that. Meanwhile, let's have a look at the second race then, shall we? And quickly at least go through the top 10, because it has been reversed to have Francisco Petalin on the front ahead of Smoggy. Tom Davidson and Jamie Nuttall will resume their battle for row 2 ahead of Mike Pollard and Jack Southfield. Wojciech Dvorak will be 7th ahead of Guillaume Hamling, Josh Millington and Kieran Sharp. Those are the 10 that have been reversed. The rest to scroll through on your screen, because we are not far away from getting this race underway. Those outside the top 10 are exactly where they finished the opening race of the day. The feature race is about to get underway. The top 10 have been reversed, and an extra 15 minutes put on the clock. So half an hour for this second race, and perhaps safety car interventions as well. We'll wait and see whether that becomes reality or not, as Gurgly Gonzalo just takes his time getting onto the grid at the moment. He'll be recovering from his first race incident. He was very, very close to getting that reverse grid pole, and at least a good position from the reverse grid second time round. He's not decided to take the start on this time round, it looks like, for the second race. The lights are on then for the second race of the day here at Oschersleben, and Francisco Petalin gets off to a very good start indeed from that front row, and is going to try and run away with this race right from the beginning. Now, the top 11 didn't change positions at all in race number 1 through lap number 1. Is that going to be the same in the reverse top 10 race? Well, Petalin is going to hold on to the lead, or is he? He goes deep, and Smoggy will immediately get down the inside here through turn 2. That'll give him the outside in time for turn 3, with Davidson looking for a way through as well. There goes Smoggy, late on the brakes on the outside line here. And Davidson's going to be off right in front of the rest of the field. He's going to be missed by everybody by the looks of things. Remarkably missed by everybody through turn 3 as he went for that spin. It's still side by side for the lead. Petelin's on the inside line.
Ooh.
And finally, Smoggy has to give in.
Oh, he didn't have a choice. Petelin said, see you later, I'm going to cut your nose off. I'll tell you what, Francesco was close there. I am interested now. Francesco's got to get this start out the way, and then he's got to calm down. You've got to calm down. He was so quick in race number 1. If he just drives like that, I reckon he will start opening up a gap as the likes of Southfield, as the likes of Smoggy and Nuttall start making contact with each other. But I think for Petelin, it's all about getting his lap 1 done. He's got it onto pole. We did the hard work in race number 1. Chill out. Get it done, get it moving away from the guys behind, because the last thing he wants to feel is pressure all the time from Smoggy, all the time from Southfield, all the time from Nuttall. 3 wide, 4 wide, 3 wide.
Jesus, that was unbelievable. In towards the final corner, and David at Subi Southfield's going backwards here. He just pulls in front of Pollard, who has to go around the other side, and Southfield now is going to try and get through on Nuttall somehow. Not sure he's alongside enough quite for that. In towards turn number 1, no, he's not. And well, he needed a bigger dive down the inside at turn number 2 there. Petelin wide again through turn 1. That's what invited Smoggy to get alongside in the first place on lap number 1. Slides his way out of the corner as well, but it was all a bit of an error through that final sector there. And Petelin has really created all this. Smoggy and Southfield looking for positions. They couldn't quite get them in the end. Petelin has got a pretty slender lead at the moment, considering what we've seen in these opening couple of laps, or opening 1 lap of the race.
Yeah, it's been great action all the way through, though, hasn't it? That's the thing. You've still got all the way down to 11th. Andrew Pike just in the back there, opening up a little bit of a gap over Gabbiati. He's got Khan and Gardner closing in on him. But this front group is very much follow my leader. It's no real advancements going forward. And I think for Petelin at the moment, he's got to get turn 1 right, because at the moment he's making issues for himself. Khan's just gone round in the background. We've just seen him spin for Dave Khan. Unfortunately, it's going to drop him all the way down the order, maybe not behind Gallagher. I think Gallagher's a little bit too far back. But for Petelin, it's all about settling down. It's all about trying to open up a gap, because we have seen him. Whoa, Dvorak!
All over the place there. He gathered it up. And Millington is going to try and come through and him straight away here. He's going to be on the outside line going in towards turn number 1. And there's going to be almost 3 wide per second up ahead, by the way, as Southfield's gaining places. Smoggy's going backwards, and he's trying to prevent that from happening. Can't go through, though. Southfield goes too deep. They've chased each other deeper and deeper on the brakes. Now Pollard just gets into Nuttall, who will slip through on Southfield there and try and shut the door. We won't be able to do it. Smoggy's just up ahead of him as well in the blue and the purple. This is all allowing Petelin, by the way, to get off up the road, and he is a long way up the road now in this race.
Yeah, Smoggy and Nuttall fighting it out at the same time. They've got Southfield in there. I'm trying to break. It's really hard because I'm trying to show you all of it at the same time, because there's so much going on in this front 11. You're just going to end up missing it otherwise. So we're trying to keep it wide just so we can catch up with it. But Smoggy here with Southfield, with Nuttall, with Pollard, with Dvorak, all just fighting out and continually fighting. Smoggy's broken away a bit. Southfield's opening up a little bit, and that's due to the fact that these guys are still fighting behind.
This is very high intense stuff at the moment for all of these drivers. So they make their way now down in towards the final few corners. Dvorak having a look down the inside of Pollard, but doesn't go for a move. Now, will there be some organisation here in this second group, or will it all go into chaos again at the final corner where we've seen so many moves so far? Here we go. Who's going to have a look? Dvorak is... He doesn't get alongside. I think at the end of lap 3, that's the first time in this race we've not had at least someone side by side over the line in the top 10. Oh, we are going to have. I spoke too soon. That was really crossed up there from... was that Kieran Sharp or Hamling? It was Hamling, wasn't it? Guillaume Hamling. Sharp gets through, and so does Matt Acton into 9th place.
Yeah, they've all bottlenecked at the moment. Poor old Smoggy is the kind of the cork in the bottle. I don't know what bottle. It could be champagne, could be cheap wine, it could be whatever you want. But at the moment, Smokey is it. And he's got Southfield, Nuttall, Pollard, Dvorak, Millington, Sharp, Acton, Hamlin and Pike all behind him. While Petlin just escapes a little bit at the front. 1.8 seconds, but one mistake and he's going to be right back in the pack.
Well, that's a bit offline for Smoggy there. Southfield gets right up behind him, tries to put the pressure on however he can. At the bottom of the circuit there, now in towards this chicane, if you like. Now the final corner before the back straight. That was a bit of a slide from Southfield. He was starting to gain some momentum there and look for a way through. He just had a slide at the wrong moment, and so Smoggy's going to hold on. It looks like Petelin is out front for good now, to be honest. 1.8 seconds. This battle per second is only going to help him more, and it looks like it's only going to continue as well.
Yeah, it is. It is non-stop. That's the problem. There's another battle with Cardulo, Richards, Gardner and Davidson kind of developing, but at the moment it is all in this group that are just continuing to scrap, and Petelin is now he's got to be his race one mindset. He's got to be his, I can do this, I'm going to do this, and that's it. And off he goes. So there we go for him. He's now escaping up the road a little bit. We've had a request as well from Watery Turtle for the Dave Kahn incident. He comes out the corner, unfortunately, onto the throttle and around the back end goes. I don't believe there was contact. There wasn't. And unfortunately, that's what happened to Kahn. So I hope that clears up that situation. But yeah, Smokey, Southfield, Nuttall, Pollard, all in the group right the way down the Pike.
Yep, this is a very, very large group indeed. And it's only going to increase and continue if this continues for second place. All respect to Smoggy, it doesn't look like he's the quickest in the group right now. Looks like Southfield is pushing for that, although somebody stuck in the group could be fastest. We just don't know at this stage. We don't really get the speed of these guys on their own, and we didn't really get that in race one either. They're going to chase each other across the road now on the back straight, though, because that wasn't a great exit from Froggy. He's going to try and just chase Southfield to the tight line there, and it's worked. He's gone quite deep there, Southfield. Now here comes Froggy on the outside. There's contact. He was going to try and go around the outside of the third last corner there, and it's just cost him. Nuttall's going to go through. Pollard goes through on the outside, and is there going to be a bit sort of no by the looks of things? It looked to me like he was shaping to go in the pit lane for some reason there, but he stays on the circuit. Now Dvorak is going to try and come through as well to the top five. Millington is right there as well in the red. Watch for him coming in towards turn number one now to be a bit more aggressive maybe on Dvorak. At the moment they'd be tied on points if they end how they are, by the way, those two in 6th and 7th. But Millington doesn't go anywhere, neither does Dvorak. And Southfield's released in second place. He's off up the road.
Yeah, you can see it's that mindset we talk about when we get group racing. The guy at the front normally does a runner when the guys start fighting behind. The problem is Southfield tried to do a runner, and then Nuttall and Pollard come with him, and then Smokey's closing in Dvorak. So they're all coming back together again. So at the moment, although Southfield did try and escape, all he's done is opened up, he's lost time to Petelin up front, and he's bringing Nuttall and Pollard at the same time. So they're not really escaping at all at this moment in time, because I think the draft is playing a little bit of an effect, and the fact that they just can't leave each other alone.
They can't seem to at the moment. Southfield is certainly quicker than Smoggy, and maybe quicker than Petelin as well. We'll see. He's got a long time in this race to catch him, if indeed he has the speed to do it. Nuttall and Pollard just in behind. Nuttall started the day, by the way, only 9 points behind Dvorak. He would have only lost a couple in the last race. At the moment, he's 3 positions up ahead of him. Be a nice load of points back. He might just earn the points back that he lost in the first race, to be honest, looking at the way things are at the moment. Dvorak having a look up the inside of Smoggy down the inside there at the final corner. Can't do it. Millington right in behind him. Then it's Kieran Sharp, who won the first race, looking to come up another couple of positions as well. It looks like increasingly Smoggy is the cork in the bottle, no matter where he places himself in this group.
Yeah, I know. Poor little rascal, Felix Smoggy. The other three are kind of opening up a little bit of a gap. They're about a second up the road. It might sound harsh when I say this, it's kind of showing that Smokey's not quite on the pace with the guys in and around him, because once they get through him, or past him, should I say, they don't go through him, they go past him, but once they go past him, he does kind of escape up the road, you know, they escape up the road and open it up, and I think Dvorak's wishing now that he goes in and, you know, I'm not going to say sends it on him, but he needs to get that overtake done.
It's wasted time now. Every corner that goes past, it's free time on the road that he's just losing. Through the chicane again. The Thomas Angersim Racing man is in second place, and there's going to be a good run here. A nicer line there. This is exactly where it still started for Southfield, don't forget. Onto the back straight. It was that run onto the back straight that he really benefited from to have a go into this section, but not this time round. Smoggy is too far in front, and Dvorak's going to have to get inventive somewhere else.
He's going to get it though.
Smoggy. And there's going to be a chance into the final corner here. He's just not quite quick enough through the penultimate corner, Dvorak, to me. Here he goes, though. Finally for the dive. That's very late. And he's got to the inside at least. So now it gets interesting, because Millington right there, he's very nearly turned. He very nearly got turned there, Dvorak, and that was pretty close. Now Millington is going to try and squeeze on the outside as well. Smoggy needs to be careful there and give the room. Millington doesn't want to crash, so he backs out of it in towards turn number one, but Dvorak's made it work. He's now been hit by Smoggy just a little bit. Millington now needs to follow his championship rival.
Wow, I thought one of them was going round. I literally thought Dvorak was going round when he got hooked by Smokey in behind, and then I thought Smokey was going round when he got hooked by Millington. Millington's now on the inside of the left-hander. This is going to give him the inside for the next left and right, and poor old Smokey has just kind of been bullied out a little bit. Dvorak is escaping up the road. He's made his mission to go and catch up with Mike Pollard, but the gap up front has come down. It's there. Oh, Smokey! Oh! No fear. Oh, he's going to hook him. Oh,
nearly made a bit of an awkward contact there with Millington, who is now through, and the queue continues. There's contact now. Millington goes wide. Smoggy not willing to give this one up for sixth place, putting up a real fight here, and Sharp could benefit here if Smoggy stays alongside. Millington will be hoping he can stop the door here, but he can't. Smoggy's down the inside, and this is really costly now for Josh Millington's slender championship lead. He's on the inside. He's going to... Oh, well, makes side-to-side contact with Smoggy. Goes straight off. Back on the run. Right into the side of Guillaume Hamling, who goes around into the final, or penultimate corner, rather. Here comes Pike down the inside for 8th place. Smoggy getting all in a knot now, tangled with everybody else. He's now down into 9th place.
Oh, man, Hamlin is going to be spitting bubbles. Watch, Smokey goes off. Just watch the right-hand side. Straight in. Bang. Oh. Poor Guillaume Hamlin.
Remarkably, Hamlin hasn't actually got damage. He didn't come into pit lane, so he's got away without damage, which is quite remarkable. Oh, dear. Paul Weller, meanwhile, has had quite a wild ride through turn 1 and 2. He drops down the field, now running in 16th, which is one down of where he started. Yeah, to be honest... I think that was, you know, there's a lot going on there. Millington, first of all, making side-to-side contact with Smoggy and sending him off the road through the third last corner, I think was probably Millington's fault, actually, in that. And, you know, he should have given more room on the outside line. However, Smoggy came onto the circuit very aggressively and then caused the contact with Hamling. So there's a lot of drivers who are going to be answering questions of the stewards later on.
Absolutely. I wonder how many more people are going to have qualifying bans by the time we get to the end of it. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's been very, very interesting to see what happens with these guys. I'm just trying to find, is Smokey on points at the moment? He's sat on 3. So if he gets 3 more out of that, he'll be on 6 and get a ban for the next time round. As you said, every round since round 2, because obviously we can't do it in round 1, somebody's had a qualifying ban. But Nuttall, Southfield, Pollard, Dvorak now closing in. Behind that is Millington. Behind him is Sharp. Oh, non-stop still fighting.
That was very close in towards turn 1 and 2. There was a time when these guys were catching Petelin and they were a bit organised, but with just over 15 minutes to go, that's all gone out the window now. And they're making side-to-side contact. Jamie Nuttall looking for a pretty important pass here, by the way, for second place, and he's got it. So it's second for Nuttall. who has now passed Jack Southfield. Pollard is next, and then Wojciech Dvorak is inside the top 5, and he's on the back of these guys again now as well, looking for that 4th place, which is, by the way, where he finished in the opening race of the day.
Yeah, he's trying to get up there at the moment. Dvorak is sitting in 5th. There's battles further on through the field. Pike's obviously recovering. He's got Smokey in behind him, Matty Acton. Willem Hamlin is fighting out with Weller. Obviously, both of them have their own... Well, Hamlin had no idea he was coming, let's be blatantly honest. He didn't even realise what was going to happen until he went round. And unfortunately for Willem Hamlin, he was the sitting duck there. So that's all still taking shape further down. But Nuttall, at the moment, still under attack. And he's still got 4 cars coming at him. Southfield, Pollard, Dvorak and Millington. If he can bring Sharp with him as well, it's going to be a 6-car fight for second.
Going to be a very, very rowdy crowd, this, for second place. 14 minutes to go. I think there's going to be 21 laps in this race, by the way, based on the current estimate. It looks like we're 2 minutes away from safety car safety, as it were. We're going to get away with it as long as all hell doesn't break loose in the next lap. Here we go in towards turn 1 and 2 again for Nuttall, who just goes a bit deep into 2 there. Southfield had a chance to poke his nose down the inside, but that would have only resulted in a spin for Nuttall and a catastrophe for everybody else. So they don't manage it. But yeah, this could be a 6-car group very quickly. Millington's catching them, and Dvorak's going to be wary, very wary of that. Millington fired up after his battle with Smoggy. Will now be fired up to try and get past Dvorak, who now is putting the pressure on Pollard as well. They're all getting closer to each other in this group.
Yeah, they're all going to, I told you, it's going to be a 6-car fight for second place, and any one of them makes contact with anybody in and around them, there's going to be good 3 cars involved, because nobody's really going to be able to avoid anyone, just how close they are actually fighting. That's where the majority of the slowdowns are coming in. Thankfully, nobody has got them this time around. I guess it's probably that fine balance again on certain circuits where it's off, it's on, it's slow down, it's not, and these guys are managing this well at the moment. But yeah, 2, 4, 6 are going to be in battle very, very shortly.
Certainly are. I thought Dvorak was going to go into the final corner there, but he's just backed away. Southfield doesn't though. He had a look there, and Nuttall did give him the room to do so as well. Now it's Pollard who's got the best run onto the front straight. Is he trying to stay behind Southfield and let him get on with this, or is he trying to overtake him here? It looks like he's trying to let him get on with it. In towards turn 1, probably the best idea again. As they now going towards turn 1 and 2. Gravel all over the place here, by the way, in the first couple of corners, as you'd expect. Pettelin's still the driver out front, nearly 3 seconds out front now, and you'd imagine he's on his way to a race victory here, remarkably, in race number 2. It's the battle per second that's going to be very interesting. Just waiting for that spark to really ignite things, and then it is going to be on fire, this battle for second place.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of, as you said, the spark before the bang. I think that's the thing. They're all just kind of getting into position. But do you know the weirdest thing here is, although I'll probably never ever find myself in this situation this high up on a grid, I would want to make an overtake, because I'd want to try and put another car between, like, move your way through the field. It's kind of like NASCAR, right? You start at the back, you want to just pick cars off as you go along and try and move your way up, avoiding any carnage that may happen in the middle. I'd really want to put myself a little bit further up the front of this field, because if it happens in where Pollard is, say Pollard makes a mistake, everybody behind is going to get copped in that. Dvorak, Millington, Sharp, they're all going to end up getting caught up, just how close they actually are. So like Pollard had an opportunity the last lap and he didn't take it. I do wonder whether or not it might come back and bite him in the bum, to be blatantly honest. I'd want to start making moves as soon as I could.
Southfield pretty close again here towards turn 1, but doesn't have any chance of going through. Now, what about turn 2? Is he getting his nose down the inside there? It's a decent chance. If you just poke your nose there is the risk, big risk of contact, but it's a good way of starting a battle here. And Southfield not able to do it this time around. And while they're not able to do it, the rest of them almost forced to follow as things stand. Nuttall would gain 6 points back, by the way, in this next race. If things stay as they are, that would pretty much offset and maybe even put him into the positive on the day. tries to stay with Dvorak and Millington. With Fabian Biver not here today. Pollard lurking round. Davison a bit further down. Maybe it's those three who are starting to edge forward in the championship battle. Next week at Summit Point is going to be very important in that battle, and then at the week after at VIR is going to be our decider. As we make our way down the back straight now, Dvorak is the one poking his nose at Pollard, and he again doesn't go for it. 10 minutes now to go only.
Yeah. Oh, blimey. Southfield had that car up on two wheels. What's going to happen? Dvorak under attack from Millington further back. Millington just got his nose chopped off going into the penultimate corner. Is he going to go in and get this? He should have a decent run out. Dvorak's had to tighten that up a little bit. We're going to see if Millington can make that move over Dvorak. You can see him there. He's got the run. Is he going to be able to make it? He's got to be later on the brakes into turn number one. We go. Is Millington going to even remotely think about it? He thought about it, but didn't go anywhere. And the same with Southfield over Nuttall. So maybe we might see some action that's taking place at the back here from Gabbiati, Richards, Gardner, and the recovery of Quillam Hamling, of course.
He is on his way, Guillaume Hamling. Now then, on towards turn number one. He can't do it there. Again, I said it earlier on, but I'm amazed he didn't get damage from that contact with Smoggy. It was a really big hit to the rear right of that car. I would have thought would have tweaked the suspension, but these cars are pretty tough. Here comes Gardner on Richards, going right round the outside in the green. And he's going to get shuffled out there, Alex Richards, into the outside line. And Gardner works his way through. Hamling not able to capitalise that time round. At less than 2 seconds, by the way, for the lead here, which I wonder if is factoring anyone's thinking. Ettelin, not the quickest driver out of the top 7, I wouldn't say, but he is in a good position.
Where are you going?
Weller, by the way, dropped back to pit lane.
Yeah. Wow. So the interesting thing is here. Watch this entry for Paul Weller. It's literally insane. Look at that. Got it wrong on the inside. Then he's just spinning it sideways, trying to hold on to it. And unfortunately, he can't hold on to it. And this is the outcome. Gosh.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if we see him again today. That looks like it's that for Weller. As now in towards turn number 1 and 2. Nuttall again under pressure from Southfield, but catching Petterlin. Less than 8 minutes to go. First of all, I'm not sure there's the time remaining with just 6 laps to go for him to catch Petterlin. And I'm not sure he's quite got the cooperation behind him either here, Jamie Nuttall, to actually catch up to the leader either. But it is going the right direction for him right now.
Yeah, it is. He's staying ahead, but he's thinking... Are they trying? Is this the reason the group haven't really changed? Because they are trying to bring Petterlin back in. But with 7 minutes left, have they left it too late? There's not a massive difference between lap times. 34.6 for Nuttall, 35.26 for Petterlin. So they are quicker, but is that what they're trying to do? Is that why we haven't seen this group of 6 really kind of mix it up yet? But when do they say enough is enough and we've got to go for it?
Well, last lap, they gained 6 tenths. So if that continues, they'll be there with a few laps to spare at the end of the day. But that's not happening again on this lap. I would say that it's probably more likely to have been a mistake last lap from Petterlin, to be honest, to have allowed this to close back in again as they come out the final corner here. Nuttall's going to go over the line, maybe having gained a tenth or 2, but nothing much more than that. Yeah, Petterlin's back into the 34s again. He was in the 35s last time. He does lose a tenth, but at that rate of closing, he's never going to get anywhere. Millington down the inside of Dvorak there in towards turn. Well, that was quite close. And well, there was no move made quite. And did I see Petterlin going wide as well? Maybe through turn 2, braking quite late. It's all happening at the moment as they go on to lap 16 of this race. Winding down, and it's getting interesting, getting exciting. Petterlin clinging on to a 1.5 second lead.
Yeah, it's really hard at the moment because they are reeling him in, albeit slowly, but they are bringing him in. And is Petterlin starting to feel the pressure again? And that's why he's losing time. Nuttall is driving fine. Southfield's not really putting him I'm not going to say under pressure, because we know the aggressive body language when somebody is really trying to fight with you. And at the moment, it doesn't look like Southfield is doing that. I do wonder, though, when Southfield's going to turn around and say, right, I've had enough. We're not going to catch him. I'm going for you. Because I think that was going to come in the next couple of laps. But, yeah, they're not really being aggressive with each other, or aggressive defending, or aggressive actions.
Yeah, I agree. There is going to come a point here where Southfield says that there's no chance. We might as well fight this out between ourselves. 1.3 seconds. It's going to be another 4/10 game, but the amount of laps remaining, 4.5 minutes. It's actually going to be just 3 laps to go here. So we're only going to get 20 laps. I thought it was going to be 21, and that's pretty bad news for those who are looking to... Or it might only be 19, excuse me. So that's pretty bad news for those who are looking to catch the leader. Last time round, it was a half-second gain, so that's actually pretty decent, and that needs to happen again. If that happens on the next 2 laps, then they'll be there for a last-lap showdown, but if it's any less than half a second, they're not going to make it.
No, they need to be consistently half a second away from each other. Weller had a game stutter, apparently, that causes loss of control when he just couldn't get it back, so Big Pig has told us in YouTube chat. Thank you so much for that one, but I think overall, that's probably why this is kind of settled down. This is why when we see the 6 caliber of drivers that we have, we would expect backwards and forwards racing and fireworks. But the fact that they've got the gap down to nearly 1.1 all working together, I think that may have been the plan from when we picked up on them.
Oh, and here we go. Southfield says enough is enough, and they're not going to do this. So Jamie Nuttall now has to focus on his mirrors, more than focus ahead, and they're both off. They're both off as they chase each other through the final few corners. And Southfield is unsuccessful in getting through this time round. Nuttall might be unhappy about that, but he wasn't going to catch Petalin. It's now time for the battle. It's 2 laps to go. It's second place where everyone's focus is now going to be.
I think they would have got him as well. I think they would have caught him. I think they would have caught him by the end of this lap. They would have got it down to below a second, but Southfield said enough is enough. Not doing it anymore. We're not going to catch him. I personally think they would have done. But now they're just going to keep resuming their battle, and this is going to be, well, a firework ending here.
Oh, well, to be honest, I agree with Southfield. I don't think they're going to catch. If they did the same lap last time round as they did the one...
Oh, we've lost Mr. O'Leary completely. He's cut out. I don't know where he's gone, but wherever he's gone, he has dropped out. So you might just have to me for the last few laps. You can see Petalin there as well. I agree, Big Pig. They have given Petalin the win here, bar any mistakes. I think Mr. O'Leary is back with us. Are you back?
Yeah, I clicked the wrong button. Sorry. Nuked myself. Anyway, battle on the way down the back straight is going to get exciting on this last lap, and Nuttall is going to be under the pressure again. This is where it all started, don't forget. 1 lap ago with Southfield having a dive through that fast right-hander. Now he's going to have another go into the final corner. Surely it looks like he's going to have a dive here. At last lap, certainly he will. Nuttall doesn't feel the need to defend, and he was right on that occasion. The white flag will be waving one more time round now on this race.
Yeah, 1 more lap to go. That is it. Final lap of the race. Oh, is he waving?
Should be.
I don't know if he is.
Well, time is going to have elapsed when they cross the line for the next time round, so I don't see why not, but we will see whether this is the last lap or not in that case. No chance in towards turn 3 this time round either for Southfield. This is all very good news for Nuttall, who has only got the final sector now really to deal with.
Yeah, he's going to have to try and make sure he can hold it here. It's really weird. Oh, no, it's just gone in deep. They are going to make contact. Is that going to give Southfield the inside line? Nope. Can they all get through here cleanly without getting slowdowns off the other side? They can at the moment. I would have expected Southfield to be left, right, crawling all over him at the moment.
That was very close there from Southfield, but there's only really a couple of chances left now at these final few corners, as Petelin again being reeled in by the others. You do wonder whether they would have got there without this battling, and perhaps if they'd have organised in the first 10 minutes, then it could have happened, but it's not going to. Time now does elapse here. Does Southfield have a go? He's going to have a little look, but Nuttall covers him off nicely. Meanwhile, Francesco Petelin is going to win here at Oschersleben in race 2. After starting at the back end of the field for race 1, he's gotten to the reverse grid pole and he's taken a light to flag victory in race 2. Dvorak, meanwhile, in the championship battle, holds on from Millington, and the two will go into the last 2 races absolutely tied on points, with Jamie Nuttall within 10 of them as well, and Mikey Pollard not that far away either.
Yeah, this is an insane championship. If this is like this going into VIR Grand Course, wow, what are the fireworks going to be like there? It is going to be absolutely mental. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. I think this is going to be a great ending. You aren't going to want to miss this at home.
Going to be a fantastic finish to the season. I think there's going to be 3 or 4 with a chance of winning the title. 3 or 4 different drivers with a chance on that last day at VIR. At VIR Grand Course, by the way, that means that all the infield fizzly bits as well, doesn't it, I think?
Let me check. I will have a quick look. I'm
pretty sure it does.
Yeah, I think the Grand Course does normally, doesn't it? Oh, there's no sessions up, unfortunately, for the Grand Course. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the Grand Course is all of it.
Yeah, including the infield section, if you like. So not the, I don't say Grand Prix circuit because it's not what it's called, well, whatever. But yeah, we'll get to that when we get there. It's going to be a very exciting finale to the season. And Summit Point next week, by the way, is going to be one not to be missed as well. Racing round there is always, I would describe surprisingly good, even in cars like these. So we look forward to that as the race finishes here at Oschersleben. Francesco Petelin is your winner, 1 second ahead of Jamie Nuttall, who held off Jack Southfield, Mike Pollard, Wojciech Dvorak, Josh Millington and Kieran Sharp in a race-long battle. Andrew Pike, Felix Smoggy and Matt Acton round out the top 10 with a big gap back to Guillaume Hamling, recovered to 11th after his incident. Tom Davidson, 12th, sits back and maybe away from championship contention now, along with Pike, actually. In this round, Alex Richards, Stefan Mellis and Mauro Gerbati round out the top 50 with Matt Smith, first driver outside of a minute of the win. Francesco Cardillo was 17th, but of Valerio Tedeschi and John Bradshaw, the final driver on the lead lap. Matt Gardner and Rich Gallagher were 1 down. Dave Kahn finished 5 down. We saw his issues early. Paul Weller had issues with his game and retired quite early. Gergi Gonzalo didn't start the second race because of race 1, I would imagine, in the Abruzzi M2 Challenge here tonight. Well, what a couple of races that was. 15-minute sprint racing at the front was, pretty good racing, but the start of the second race, I think, was enthralling as well. All of it, really. These M2s providing such great racing again. And, well, there's so much still to look forward to and so much to reflect positively on as well in the first parts of the season. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Oh, it has. This has been a great season. It's the first time we've seen this car out on, in broadcast, and for us anyway in JBB. But I think they've done a great job with it, and they've clearly all getting to grips with it. They clearly know the car. There's battles all the way through. Petelin's recovery after back of the grid into race 1. He got lucky with getting the top 10, but he smashed it. He did a great job. And then coming out and winning the victory at race 2, absolutely well deserved as well. Very impressive indeed. But yeah, just a quick thing on update on VIR. There is 2 grand courses. Now, whether or not both grand courses are in iRacing, we've got the Grand West and the Grand East. So we'll have to find out which one we're going to do.
Yes.
We have.
Maybe it is just the normal...
full course.
Normal full course. I don't know. But... We'll get to that in a couple of weeks' time, as I mentioned. And then, according to the you are kind of right. So Grand Course doesn't really exist.
No, it's the West or East.
It's what iRacing calls it. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. That's
Right.
that's puzzling. The most commonly used one, I would say, is the West course, where you go right on the back straight, if you like, into a hairpin, and then you go sort of over a rise and then back down a hill again, and then it gets all tricky in the middle. But we'll see whether we use the East or the West when we get there in 2 weeks' time. Well, we've been babbling on. We've been waiting, by the way, for someone to talk to, and I'm glad to say that Francesco Petalin has finally obliged. And we can now chat with him. Francesco, welcome into the booth. It's good to have you with us. And congratulations on race 2 victory for yourself here tonight. Just tell us about that second race and how you were able to control from the front and take the win.
Thank you very much. Well, it was a very chaotic race in the sense that I didn't expect to be P1 since I didn't practice at all. So I just did my best in race 1 and took P10 exactly to take pole. And then I only managed, really. I've been lucky because the guys behind fought each other, and so I could get away and take a little bit of a gap. And I'm satisfied with my pace. Very good. I was my pace, average pace, was faster than my optimal in practice. So I improved a lot in just a little bit.
Tell us a little bit about race 1 as well and how it was to overtake here, because you were the only driver really in race 1 moving forward. And I know you had to start at the back because of a qualifying ban, but you made positions very easily, it seemed. How was it overtaking round here?
Well, there aren't a lot of corners where to overtake, but I think that doing a switchback, like try to do it every corner, gets you a little bit of an advantage on the car's head. So you exit a little bit faster and you induce them into some mistake. And luckily, I was faster than the car's head. Probably the corner with the most overtakes is the how's it called? She came before sector 3. Yeah, the right and the left, and that's a very good point to overtake.
Well, congratulations on. Sorry, go on. Were you going to ask something?
No, the Shell S. That's what it was called.
Oh, right.
Okay,
I didn't know the name either.
Me neither.
Okay. Congratulations on making so many places, Francesco, and winning the second race, of course. Is there anyone you'd like to shout out before we let you go?
Well, thank you for letting me start from the back and gave me that penalty. Only that.
It turned out to help. So congratulations on that here tonight, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks very much.
Bye-bye.
Right.
It's Francesco Petalin there in the race win for race number 2, in 10th place for race number 1 as well, and another non-British driver with outrageously good English, by the way. Anyway, that's just a jealousy point for me. It was a good night of racing, though, here at Oschersleben, that is for sure, and absolutely can't wait for next week. Now, I'm always surprised positively by how well these M2s race. They don't seem to really fit into any category, but if you take them in as a single car race on their own, they look like fun to drive, and they're a lot of fun to watch race as well.
Yeah, right. And the thing is, you can kind of bump them around a little bit. They seem a little bit more robust. I think there'd be no point bringing a car like this into I2 and then they made it like an SR10. You know what I mean? Just cardboard, bits flying off all over the place. I think that would be pointless. It needs to be a bump and grind car. It's almost, it's not, I want to say it's in that TCR category of where it can fit generally. I'd love to see that car in alongside a TCR. I think that the speed difference probably will be minimal.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know actually, but I think it would have the edge by a good few seconds. I don't know though.
You reckon?
For sure. Yeah, I think so. I think these cars are probably not that far away from a GT4, probably.
Maybe we'll put these in a GT.
Maybe you're right.
Maybe put a TCR and M2 multi-class. See who wins.
It's so difficult to compare them in my head, though, because they drive so different, the TCR compared to this. They're just incomprehensible that they could be the same speed.
Yeah, but
So
you can
maybe you're
balance.
right.
The thing is, you can ballast the car, BOP the car to bring it in line with a TCR. I'd love to see this car in a TCR fight.
It would be a strange sight, I think, on some level as well. But there you go. Anyway, that is just about it from us here tonight. A big thanks to everyone who's been tuned in. I hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have. From this side of things, it's been a thoroughly enjoyable fourth round to the Abruzzi M2 Challenge. We'll be back next week from Summit Point Raceway. Same time, same place, live about 8 o'clock UK time on next Wednesday. So don't miss it. A fantastic night of racing. I've been Neil Leary alongside James Puppet. Until we see you for that next round in a week's time, it's goodbye for now.